Okay. Once you lie down, add in any support that you need or want. You can put some pillows under your legs, taking the shape of Shavasana, adding in a blanket or a pillow for your head and your neck. And taking the first few breaths just to arrive right here. Let's see. There's an author named James Clear, and he wrote a book called Atomic Habits. It's a really easy read, I love reading that's not so complicated that I need a dictionary at every other paragraph. This quote is from James Clear. If you want to master a habit, the key is to start with repetition, not perfection. So good. So we're here. We repeat coming to the practice. Not about perfection. Repetition. And we learn. It's just life. It's just life. That's how it is. And I don't know, not all women are like this, but a lot of us are kind of attached to that thing called perfection. Expecting it of ourselves and trying to create. I do that. Like when my mother-in-law comes over for brunch, I'm like, I have to make a brunch that's like the Four Seasons. I'm like, no, you could probably whip up a fried egg and an English muffin and life would be just fine. And you would be less stressed. So food for thought, but what a great thing to repeat. Breathe in and breathe out. That's a great thing to repeat. And having a yoga practice, moving your body, helps keep our mind moving and helps keep our spirit sparkly. Make sure you feel comfortable. And then if you'd like, we'll invite even length breathing, samavriti. You will inhale to the count of 4 and exhale to the count of 4. Your number may not be 4. You might like 2 or 8, whatever it is. It's a calm, comfortable breath in, and then a calm and comfortable breath out for the same length each way. Notice if your mind took over, come back to counting. Even length inhales and exhales. Taking a few more rounds, counting the breath. And release the counting. Just allow the body to breathe. Notice the natural rhythm. Also notice if your shoulders or your hands or your feet, if anything has tension, if you're gripping or holding. Allowing a little bit of relaxation, softness, releasing. Bring your hands to your heart. You can stack them on your heart center or bring the palms to touch. Grateful for our breath, for our practice, and for creating this habit, for letting go of perfection, for each other, for our communities. And I'll be grateful for May Gray, even though it's challenging. You might add something that you're grateful for, even if it's a little bit challenging. Release your arms out into a T. Bend your knees. And we're first just going to notice the feet, just bringing awareness to the soles of your feet. Notice how they're resting on your mat. You might move them a little bit to find that exact place where it's the least amount of effort to hold the legs in this position. So sometimes just taking a little investigation You'll find the place where the legs feel grounded, feet feel grounded, and there's minimal effort. Notice any sensations, energy, warmth, coolness, comfort or lack of comfort in your feet. Noticing the toes, big toes, second toes, third, fourth, and pinky toes. Notice your heels. You might be aware that one foot feels heavier on the ground than the other, or they might feel even. And then just awareness on the whole left foot, top, sides, bottom, toes, heels, arch, and your whole right foot, top, sides, bottom, toes, heel, arch. Take a few breaths, just giving love, breathing love right into your feet. When you're ready, scoot the feet wider toward the edge of your mat. And start with a few tiny wipers, like a light sprinkle, the legs roaming side to side, not in a torrential downpour. Notice the movement of your legs and how it creates some rotation in the pelvis and the low back. And you may want to expand on this, taking the legs farther, or you can stay with that first pattern. And you may also switch back and forth, take a couple small ones and then take a wider one. Maybe even move your feet. I'm taking my feet right off the mat. It's your time, your exploration. Keep your head in neutral or begin turning your head the opposite way of the legs. Notice how this feels today. We do these moves a lot. There's repetition in the yoga practice, creates discipline and non-attachment. We're like, oh, this again? Okay. What does my body have to say about it today? Taking a couple more each way. Back to center. Draw your knees in toward your chest. You can be still or rock side to side. Release the rocking. Keep your arms down. You might hold the edges of your mat. And let's reach one leg up toward the sky and then bend. And then the other leg, straightening and bending. Just alternating legs. Maybe stretching the back of the legs a little bit. Not ever forcing a straight leg. You're just feeling some stretch, and that's enough. Staying with singles or maybe double, both legs. Feet reaching up and then knees bending. And bring both legs up and let your arms join. Resting bug. We'll add in ankles and wrists. Slow, slow circles. Switch direction. And draw the knees down again. So some choices. You might like to circle the legs by holding each leg, making a circle. Or you might like to take the whole leg and make some circles. Arms can rest wherever you'd like if you're not holding the legs. Switching direction. And if you're doing the straight leg, switch sides. Release one and take the other leg up. Any size circle. Small, big. To keep the pelvis steady, don't tip over. Switching direction. Release. Let the legs go out into Shavasana. Arms can stay in a T or maybe also Shavasana arms. Notice your body resting on the ground. Notice the left side and the right side. Notice how your head is resting. You feel balanced from one side to the other, or maybe there's more awareness on the left or the right. We're going to do a little scrunching, just the right toes. Scrunch and spread. Release. Left fingers scrunch and spread out. Release. right fingers scrunching, spreading out, release. Left foot toes scrunch and spread, release. Right toes and left fingers scrunch, release. Left toes, right fingers scrunch, release. All the toes and fingers scrunch, release. Couple more times, all the toes and fingers scrunching, releasing. One more time. Good. Bend your knees. Draw the legs in. So we have a couple of choices here. You can come into resting bug, and we're going to take arms and legs apart and together. If it feels better, you could have bent knees and bent arms. Looks like fetal pose, but I'm on my back. And you can do it right here. Legs and arms together and apart. And feel free to try both. Limbs bent or limbs straight or a combo platter. You can go in slow motion. That's interesting. Notice your breath. Grounded, back supported, limbs with some lightness. Few more breaths. And release. Taking the shape of Shavasana once again. Just letting the body relax so that you can sense and be aware of the support beneath you and of each breath in and out. Keep your arms as they are or slide arms into a T position. Head can stay in neutral, or you can roll your head to the right and pause. Pardon me. Excuse me. Come through center and turn your head to the left and pause. Not a great day for allergies. Bringing your head back to neutral. Arms by your sides. Inhale, let your arms float up and over. Exhale, back to your sides. Any distance. Inhaling, arms up. You might just take them up toward the sky, or they may go part way back. And then back to your hips. Couple more times, arms reaching wherever they reach, and then back down by your hips. Last one. Arms by your sides. You're going to bring the legs into this active, as if you were standing. So we dorsiflex the ankles, the toes are toward the sky, the heels are down. Arms by our sides. We are taking Tadasana or mountain pose here on the ground. There's a little bit of work here, holding the legs, keeping the feet active, enjoying this long, tall, spacious posture. Taking a few more breaths here. You choose to stay here, to release into the shape of Shavasana, or to take your arms up and over, staying very active. This is more like a handstand now. And then if we were in a handstand, our hands would be on the ground, so you can bend your wrists. See if you can stretch and get the palms back, so as the palms would be on the floor. Then you can make Barbie doll feet. It's like a high heel foot. So if we were in handstand, we probably wouldn't be flexing. We might be pointing, but this kind of Barbie doll high heel foot is a nice action. Strong in the legs, strong in the core, strong in the shoulders. This is a lovely variation of handstand. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And release. Let everything relax. Shavasana shape. Everything soften. Invite a few rounds of counting your breath. Your number may have changed, or you can stay with the same one. Few more rounds counting. Release the counting. Bend your knees. Plant your feet. We're going to do a few bridges today, and then a bridge surprise. You may add the arms or not. We're going to press down through the feet, lift the pelvis, rising up, and then lowering down. We've done some awareness on the feet, so really feel both feet, all the toes, the heels, especially the heels, pressing down to help you lift up. Follow your breath. Notice the buttock muscles as well. They help to lift. They help create this action of lifting the pelvis. Finish the one you're on. Take one more. When you come down, you'll decide. You can rest. You can continue moving in and out of bridges. Maybe you want to revisit the wide leg bridges we did last week, or we're taking a super slow journey. So this is a lot of work for the legs and the butt. You can leave your arms by your sides, pressing down, and we lift just an inch off the ground, and we breathe. It's going to take us like 3 hours to get up into the bridge, and we inch up, lifting another inch. Lifting again, little bit. If at all this feels uncomfortable, come down, rest, take care of your body. Another inch lifting. Deep connection through your heels. Buttocks active, not like scrunching, but active. Strong buttock. Lift again, inch. Maybe press down through the arms, lift again. At some point, you won't lift anymore. You'll be like, I'm there, I found it. I think I've got one more half inch. Now let's take a few breaths here. Push through the heels. Strong buttocks, perhaps a smile. Press down through the arms. And we lower 1 inch. Breathe, lower 1 inch. And lower 1 inch. And again, little by little, we're coming down, lowering, breathing. Maybe 1 more inch. And you come all the way down. And then just to kind of wash that away, let's take 3 of the bridges that we know and love. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Twice more, inhaling up, exhaling down. Last one. Then we get to set up, yay, for supported bridge. Lifting and bringing your cushion or your bolster or your blanket underneath your body. Supporting pelvis, low back. Noticing your pillow. You can take it out, you can lower it. You always want your head and your neck to feel good, even though you've elevated the pelvis. And once you arrive, you may investigate the feet again, finding just the right placement where the legs feel steady with minimal effort. You can take tripod leg if you prefer, feet wide, knees together, maybe adding in a cushion. You may, of course, take your legs up into the sky at any time, maybe for the whole time. Your arms, Shavasana, T, or maybe a cactus shape. When we pause here and we find stillness, we can practice our ability to pay attention. If the mind is very busy, maybe go back to counting the breath. Samavriti, even length inhales and exhales. Taking a few more rounds, counting, or just being with your breath. Now, releasing the counting. And just be. If you want to change the shape of your arms or your legs, that's fine. Just let your body be here in the inversion. At the bottom of your next exhale, please take your time. You're slowly coming back down to the ground. Let it be as slow as the bridge building, pausing and breathing. Taking your time. When you get down to the ground, if it feels good, you can rest in a Shavasana shape, or it may feel good to draw the knees into your chest. Gentle twist, a couple different choices. Feet on the ground, drop your knees to one side, add in any support you would like. Pillow sandwich, right? Pillow, leg, arms in a T. Or drawing the knees in, maybe shifting the pelvis and then dropping the knees to one side. Arms in a T. Any other shape is fine with the arms as well. Then you can look up at the sky or perhaps turn your head the opposite way of the legs. And we feel the rotation. And then we notice how the breath can make some space in areas that might feel a little snug. Bring yourself back to center. Pause in the center. Shift your props. And then you can decide feet down, dropping the legs, or drawing the knees in. Dropping the legs, arms in a T. Maybe you're wanting to do a different twist on the second side. Totally allowed. Look the opposite way of the legs or look up at the sky. Either way, you can close your eyes and actually look inside. Noticing each in-breath and each out-breath. Slowly, slowly coming back to center. One cushion on each side. Our next pose may be where you spend Shavasana, or at any time you'll be able to stretch out your legs into traditional Shavasana. So one pillow, each hip ready for support. And let the legs, like we did earlier, apart and back together, but this time feet are on the ground. It's a lot of support. A couple more times, and then the legs can stay open, soles of the feet touch. Please make sure you have enough support and it's supporting your hip joint, your thigh. Add if you need. If you have a blanket or something that's malleable or movable underneath your head, you can do kind of a little tuck so that you make a cradle for your head. Just like a little smush of the blanket, and suddenly my head is held and it feels really supportive and nice. Arms in Shavasana or T, or maybe even hands on your belly. So we start in Supta Baddha Konasana, but at any point, you can stretch your legs out and take the traditional shape of Shavasana. And bring your awareness back to your breath. If your legs are in Supta Baddha Konasana, you might stretch them out for the next few breaths. And you may feel like turning your head side to side a time or two. Adding in a smile. And grazing your thumb along your fingertips. Wiggling your toes. Check in with the energy of your heart center. You can stay here on your back, or maybe take a whole body stretch. And then bend your knees and roll to the side. When you're in fetal pose, if you are, just pause there, taking a beat. We let the practice go. We get ready to transition into the evening, back to our regularly programmed sports event. And we come up to sit, or we stay lying down, connecting hands at heart. You can stack them on your heart center or bring them to touch. Grateful for this time together. Thank you for your practice, for being willing to show up over and over and over again. I appreciate you. Thank you.